Well, good evening. Just to wrap up with the City Council meeting for Grand Rapids for October 10th. Just a few things that I wanted to touch on from the consent agenda. First was that we had authorized application through IRRB for a demo grant for the former Kmart building. So if you're looking and you saw and are wondering what's been and what's going to happen with that building up there, we're looking for demo funds to tear that building down so that it can be developed into something different on that property. We also authorized the removal of structures on 4 individual pieces of property, 3 out on River Road and 1 on 5th Avenue Northwest Grand Rapids. So we will see that happening here over the next few weeks as well. We changed some work that was going to be done on final payment on the Showboat Landing demo. The land swap with UPM has been a long process. It's been months and months and months. The property that the city will acquire and the property that the city is giving to UPM in exchange, in order to make that equal in value, there's a lot of steps that have had to have been and hurdles that have had to have been jumped over and through. And we are in the final phases. The land has been cleared down there on the former Showboat site, and we will shortly be putting the final touches on that land swap between the City of Grand Rapids and UPM Kootenai, with the hope and the desire that at some point in time, should they express interest in expanding their business in Grand Rapids, everything will be in place for them to do that. From our regular meeting, we had a couple of public hearings this afternoon. One was on the assessments on 5th Avenue out here and 5th Street and 8th Avenue. So that was approved and went through. And then we've had a platted question issue out on Houghton on the other side of the river over there. Back in the old days when they did things a little more crude than we have now with GIS and all the telemetry that we can do. The land wasn't exactly parceled up, so that the ownership that was thought to be under a family's name wasn't, and we've been over the last few months getting that squared away so that now that property will be able to, if they desire to market that out on the market, they would be able to sell that property and stuff. So that was good that we were finally able to get that done. This evening we had a department head report from Rob Mattei. I think if you sat through it, or if you haven't sat through it, I would urge people to get out there and take a look at the slides. Grand Rapids has been going through a significant time of building prosperity, I would call it, in the city limits. Over the last 5 years, it's ranged from a low $11 million of building permits up to as much as $33 million. We're sitting at about $11 million right now, with potential of bringing on 2 or 3 more projects yet this year, as Rob talked about, that would come in there. So my expectation, the motel hotel, when that goes through, it's an $8 million project. There are some other projects on refurbishing old businesses in town that are moving forward as well. That when the year is all said and done, when Rob comes back at the end of the year to do a wrap-up from a community development standpoint, we'll be in excess of probably $20 million of building activity in the city of Grand Rapids. So these are all positives. I had asked the question, is this indicative of other communities? And there's no way of really measuring that from without, but one of the things that we do know is from a taxable tax capacity, we've been growing at about $1.3 million from 2014 to 2016. So that gives us an inkling of growth within the city, and I think some of the other demographics that Rob talked about. If you look at the 5-county area between Itasca, Cooch, Cook, St. Louis, and Aiken counties, Grand Rapids is literally the only community that has growth. We're growing at about 3.8%, where you see declining population demographics for some of the others. Duluth has about a 1% growth from a population standpoint. So those are all good news. And we would hope that it improves across the Northland for all areas, not just in the Grand Rapids area. Dale Anderson was in. We're doing a small dog enclosure at the Veterans Park. It's 100% paid for by the Friends of the Dog Park. Matt was in, talked about connecting. City of Cohasset has storm water and storm sewer connections that come through the City of Grand Rapids property, and it hooks up to the Grand Rapids main. And in a portion of town out by the old, what I call the old Thunder Bridge, the bridge out on 7663, as you look at how that happens to connect out there going forward with this passage, if you were to sell that property, if you had a property out there, within a year, the new property owner would be required to hook up to the new current stormwater sewer permits. We authorized Jeff Davies in Public Works to get a new Polaris Brutus sidewalk and trail maintenance vehicle equipped with a plow and blower, flailing and finishing mower, a little over $43,000. Quite under budget. There was $80,000 budgeted for that. We were able to get this piece of equipment for just under $44,000, so nice savings there as well. And then we authorized a comprehensive study on markets for rates for our city employees. We do this, last one was done in 2012, so 4 years we'll hopefully find out if we are compensating and paying employees correctly for the value and the work that they do within the city of Grand Rapids. We look forward to seeing everyone in a couple of weeks. Have a good, enjoyable evening, and thanks for listening.